I started working for Victor's company right out of college. I was 22 years old, bright-eyed, eager, naive. I believed that hard work was rewarded. I believed that loyalty mattered. I believed that if I gave everything to a company, the company would take care of me. I was wrong. Victor's company was a marketing firm, not a big one, not a famous one, just a small shop with big ambitions and a boss who wanted to be a billionaire. Victor was in his late 40s when I met him. He had started the company 10 years earlier. He had built it from nothing. He was proud of that. He was also insecure. He knew that he had been lucky. He knew that he was not the smartest person in the room. And he hated anyone who reminded him of that. I reminded him of that every single day. Ben, I was not trying to. I was just doing my job. I was good at it. I was organized and analytical and creative. I saw solutions that other people missed. I built relationships that other people could not. My clients loved me. My coworkers respected me. My boss resented me. At first I did not notice. I was too busy working. I arrived at the office before anyone else. I left after everyone else. I took on projects no one else wanted. I solved problems no one else could solve. I worked weekends. I worked holidays. I worked through lunch. I thought Victor would notice. I thought he would appreciate my dedication. I thought he would reward my hard work. He did not. He took credit for my ideas. He blamed me for his mistakes. He gave me the hardest clients and the smallest bonuses. He never said thank you. He never said good job. He never looked at me like I mattered. I told myself it was fine. I told myself I was learning. I told myself I would be promoted eventually. I was patient. I was loyal. I was blind. By year 4, I was running the entire account management department. I had 6 people reporting to me. I was bringing in more revenue than anyone else at the firm. My clients loved me. My team respected me. Victor hated me. He started giving me impossible deadlines. He started criticizing my work in front of others. He started leaving me out of important meetings. He started spreading rumors that I was difficult to work with. He was threatened by me. He knew I was better at his job than he was. He knew that if I stayed, I would eventually take over. He could not let that happen. So he waited for an excuse to fire me. He waited for a mistake. He waited for a complaint. He waited for something he could point to and say, "See, he is not as good as you think." Matt, he never found one, because I never made one. I was too careful, too focused, too determined to prove myself. But Victor did not need a real reason. He just needed a reason. Any reason. So he made one up. The Friday before the firing, Victor called me into his office. It was late afternoon. The sun was setting through the window behind his desk. He did not look at me when I walked in. He stared at his computer screen. He looked nervous. He looked guilty. He looked like a man about to do something he knew was wrong. He said there had been budget cuts. He said the company was restructuring. He said my position was being eliminated. He said it was not personal. It was just business. I asked why. He said it was a business decision. I asked if I had done something wrong. He said no. I asked if there was anything I could do to change his mind. He said no. If I could at least say goodbye to my team. He said security would escort me out. He said it was company policy. He said it was nothing personal. I sat there for a moment. I looked at him. He still would not meet my eyes. He stared at his screen. He clicked his mouse. He pretended to read something. He was a coward. He could not even look at me while he destroyed my career. I stood up. I said, okay. I walked out. My team was in the bullpen. They saw me coming. They saw my face. They knew something was wrong. I did not have time to explain. Security was already there. A young guy I had never seen before. He stood by my desk with his arms crossed. He did not look happy about it. But he did his job. I packed my things, a framed photo of my parents, a coffee mug my sister gave me, a small plant that had somehow survived 6 years under fluorescent lights. I put everything in a cardboard box. I handed over my badge and my laptop. I walked to the elevator. One of my team members called out to me. She said, "Daniel, wait." I turned around. She was crying. She said, "This is not right." I said, "I know." She said, "We are going to miss you." I said, "I will miss you too." The elevator doors opened. I stepped inside. I did not look back. The doors closed. I was alone. I walked through the lobby. I walked past the receptionist. She did not look at me. She pretended to be on the phone. I walked through the glass doors. I walked into the parking lot. The sun was setting. The air was cold. I stood there for a moment. Cardboard box in my arms. No job. No plan. No idea what I was going to do. I got in my car. I drove home. I sat in my dark living room and stared at the wall. My phone buzzed. Texts from my team. They were sorry. They were angry. They said Victor had been looking for a reason to fire me for months. They said he was jealous. They said I was too good for that place. They said I would land on my feet. They were right about everything, except the last part. I did not land on my feet. I crashed. The next 6 months were the hardest of my life. I applied to hundreds of jobs. I tailored every resume. I wrote every cover letter. I followed up with every application. I heard back from almost none. The ones that did respond said the same thing. We are looking for someone with different experience. We have decided to move forward with other candidates. We will keep your resume on file. My resume was good. My references were strong. My track record was impressive. But no one was hiring. Or no one was hiring me. I did not know which was worse. Once my savings ran out. I had been careful. I had saved money. But 6 months with no income will drain anything. I stopped going out. I stopped buying coffee. I stopped answering calls from friends who wanted to grab dinner. I could not afford it. I could not afford to pretend I was okay. I moved out of my apartment. I could not make the rent. I packed everything into storage. I moved in with my parents. I was 30 years old, sleeping in my childhood bedroom. The same room where I had posters on the walls and homework on the desk. The same room where I dreamed about my future. My mother did not ask questions. She just made me dinner and told me everything would be okay. My father did not say much. He just patted my shoulder and went back to watching television. They did not understand what I was going through, but they loved me. That was enough. I started freelancing, small projects, low pay, enough to buy groceries, not enough to feel like a person. I spent my days on my laptop in my old bedroom. I spent my nights staring at the ceiling, wondering what I had done wrong. I started drinking. Not a lot. Very two. A beer at night. 30,000 pursing sturdy suffidans. Just a beer at night. Then 2. Then 3. Then whiskey. Then more. I told myself it was fine. I told myself I was just relaxing. I told myself I would stop when I found a job. My mother noticed. She did not say anything at first. Then one night, she sat on the edge of my bed and took my hand. She said, "Daniel, you are scaring me." I said, "I am fine." You are scaring me." I said, "I am fine." She said, "You are not fine. You are drinking alone in your room every night. That is not fine." I started crying. I could not stop. I cried for an hour. I cried for an hour. She held me. She did not say anything. She just held me. The next morning I poured the whiskey down the sink. I called a therapist. I started going once a week. I started talking about what happened, about Victor, about the firing, about the 6 years I wasted, about the anger I had been carrying. The therapist asked me what I wanted. I want to make him pay. She said that is not healthy. I said I know. But it is honest. She said okay. Then let us figure out how to channel that anger into something productive. That was the turning point. Not revenge. Not yet. Just the decision to stop being a victim and start being a survivor. I got angry, not sad. Not defeated, angry. Victor had taken 6 years of my life. He had taken my job and my apartment and my dignity. He had thrown me away like garbage. He did not care. He probably did not even remember my name. I decided to make him remember. I started researching Victor's company. I spent hours online. I looked at their website, their social media, their client lists, their job postings, their reviews. I learned everything I could. I also started talking to former coworkers, people who had been fired or overlooked or mistreated, people who had left because they could not take Victor anymore. They told me things I already knew, things that made my blood boil. Victor was overcharging clients. He was under-delivering. He was promising results he could not deliver. He was losing money. He was desperate. He was not the successful businessman he pretended to be. He was a fraud. I saw an opportunity. Humiliated. I had worked there for 6 years. I knew where the bodies were buried. I knew which clients were unhappy. I knew which services were overpriced. I knew exactly how to beat him. I started my own company, a marketing firm, small, lean, hungry. I did not have an office. I did not have employees. I had a laptop and a phone and a burning desire to win. I named it something simple, something forgettable. I did not want Victor to know it was me. Not yet. I reached out to Victor's unhappy clients, the ones who complained about poor service and broken promises, the ones who felt like Victor did not care about them, the ones who were looking for a reason to leave. I did not badmouth Victor. I did not need to. I just offered them something better: attention, care, results. I answered their emails at midnight. I took their calls on weekends. I delivered what I promised. Every time, the first client came over after 2 months, a small retail chain. They were spending $20,000 a month with Victor. They were getting nothing in return. I offered them the same service for half the price. They said yes. The second client came over a month later, a tech startup. They were frustrated with Victor's arrogance. They wanted someone who listened. I listened. They signed. Man, the third client was the biggest, a healthcare provider. They had been with Victor for 10 years. They were loyal, but they were also unhappy. Victor had stopped returning their calls. He had stopped caring about their business. I reached out. I asked if they would give me a chance. They said yes. Within a year, I had stolen 10 of Victor's biggest accounts. He did not know it was me. The company name was different. The owner was not listed. I was a ghost, a shadow, a problem he could not solve. Year 2 was about building. I hired my first employee, a woman named Sarah. She had been fired from Victor's company the same week I was. She was talented and angry and ready to prove herself. We worked well together. We hired more people, former coworkers, former competitors, people who were tired of being treated like they did not matter, people who wanted to build something better. We worked out of a small office above a pizza shop. It was not glamorous. The heat did not always work. The internet went down sometimes. The smell of pepperoni and cheese drifted up through the floorboards. But we did not care. We were building something that mattered. I started attending industry events, conferences, networking dinners, trade shows. I saw Victor sometimes. He never recognized me. I was just another face in the crowd, another small business owner trying to make it. He had no idea that I was the one taking his clients. He had no idea that I was the one who was about to destroy him. And by the end of year 2, my company had 20 employees. We had revenue of $3 million. We had a reputation for excellence. Our clients loved us. They referred us to their friends. They wrote glowing reviews. They stayed with us for years. Victor's company was struggling. They had lost clients. They had lost money. They had lost their edge. Victor started making desperate moves. He lowered his prices. He made promises he could not keep. He fired more people. He blamed everyone but himself. I watched from a distance. I felt nothing, not satisfaction, not pity. I felt nothing, not satisfaction, not pity, just cold focus. I was not done yet. Year 3 was about expansion. I started targeting Victor's biggest clients, the ones he could not afford to lose, the ones that kept his company afloat. I studied their contracts. I learned their expiration dates. I prepared my pitches. I knew their pain points. I knew their frustrations. I knew exactly what to say. When the time came, I approached them with an offer they could not refuse: better service, lower prices, faster results. I did not badmouth Victor. I did not need to. His reputation spoke for itself. One by one, they left. The first was a retail chain. They had been with Victor for 8 years. They were tired of his excuses. They signed with me. The second was a tech startup. They had grown tired of Victor's arrogance. They signed with me. The third was a manufacturing company. They had been loyal to Victor for 15 years. But loyalty only goes so far. They signed with me. Man, within 6 months, Victor had lost 70% of his business. He was hemorrhaging money. He was losing employees. He was losing hope. He tried to fight back. He sued one of the clients for breach of contract. He lost. He tried to poach my employees. They declined. He tried to spread rumors about my company. No one believed him. He was desperate. He was alone. He was losing. At the end of year 3, I made him an offer. I would buy his company for pennies on the dollar. He could keep his job as a consultant. He could report to me. He could watch as I turned his life's work into my own. He refused. He said he would rather burn it to the ground. I said that was his choice. 6 months later, Victor called me. His company was bankrupt. His clients were gone. His employees had quit. He had nothing left. He asked to meet. We met at a coffee shop. The same coffee shop where I used to grab breakfast before work. The same coffee shop where I had sat many mornings planning my revenge. He looked older, smaller, defeated. His suit was wrinkled. His eyes were red. He had not slept. He did not recognize me at first. I had changed. I was more confident, more successful, more powerful. I was not the quiet young man he had fired 6 years ago. I was someone else entirely. And I said, "Hello, Victor." He looked at me. His eyes narrowed. He said, "I know you." I said, "Yes." "You fired me 6 years ago. No reason, no warning, just an email at Jout." His face went pale. He said, "You are the one who stole my clients." But I said I did not steal them. I earned them. I gave them what you could not. Respect, attention, results. You took them for granted. You treated them like numbers. You stopped caring about their business. I showed them that someone else could do better. He started crying. He said, "I am sorry. I am so sorry. I was wrong. I was jealous. I was threatened by you. I should have promoted you. I should have appreciated you. I should have treated you better." I listened. I did not interrupt. I did not comfort him. I let him cry. I let him apologize. I let him say all the things he should have said 6 years ago. When he finished, I said, "I accept your apology, but I do not forgive you. There is a difference." He said, "What can I do to make it right?" I said, "Nothing. You cannot undo the past. You cannot give me back the 6 years I lost. You cannot make up for the nights I spent wondering what I did wrong. You cannot fix the damage you caused." He said, I know, I said, "but I want you to remember this moment. I want you to remember what it feels like to lose everything because of your own arrogance. I want you to carry that with you for the rest of your life." I stood up. I said, "Goodbye, Victor. I hope you find peace." I walked out. I did not look back. It has been 5 years since that meeting. My company is worth $50 million. We have 200 employees. We have offices in 3 cities. We have clients all over the country. We are respected. We are successful. We are everything Victor's company never was. Victor did not recover. He declared bankruptcy. He lost his house. His wife left him. His children stopped speaking to him. He moved to another state. He works at a small firm now, a junior position. He reports to someone half his age. I heard he is miserable. I do not feel bad for him. I kept the company name, the one I started above the pizza shop. It reminds me of where I came from. It reminds me of what I built. It reminds me that hard work and determination can overcome anything. I still think about that firing sometimes, the email at the cardboard box, the walk to the elevator. It does not make me angry anymore. It makes me grateful. If Victor had not fired me, I would still be there, making him look good, making him rich, making him feel important. I would still be invisible. I would still be unappreciated. I would still be small. He fired me. He set me free. He gave me the greatest gift anyone ever gave me, the chance to build something of my own. If you are going through something similar, here is my advice. Do not let rejection define you. Do not let one person's opinion become your identity. Do not let a setback become a stopping point. Get angry. Get focused. Get even. Not by destroying them. By building yourself. By becoming so successful that they cannot ignore you. By living a life so good that their rejection becomes irrelevant. My boss fired me for no reason. I built a company that beat him, not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted to prove something to myself, that I was not dead weight, that I was not disposable, that I was worth more than he ever saw. And I was right. By end. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more tales of resilience and revenge and the courage to build something new. Click the bell for notifications. And remember, the people who fire you do not decide your future. You do.